Welcome to the Michigan Skier Show with our host, Jim Neff. Join us each time as we explore the people, the places, and the events that shape our great sport.
Welcome to the Michigan Skier. I'm your host, Jim Neff. You know, one of the fun things about skiing that happens every year is that skiers find out about the new equipment coming from manufacturers from all over the country and indeed all over the world. When we wanted to find out what was hot with ski equipment this year, we could pick no better place to go than the Don Thomas Sporthaus in Bloomfield Hills. The Sporthaus has been in existence for almost 50 years, and they're one of the true legends of Michigan skiing. With us today is Bob Thomas, who's an equipment expert at the Don Thomas Sporthaus. And Bob, ski equipment has undergone great transition over the history of the sport, obviously, going from wooden skis to metal edges and into the modern space age materials. But in the last 5 years, there's been just a dramatic change in the type of ski equipment that all of us are using.
Well, there's been an explosion of new technology in the industry. The skis have become shorter, a lot more shape to them. The only thing I can relate it to is sort of what Prince did for tennis years ago with the oversized racket, or the Big Bertha did for golf. You know, there's a much larger sweet spot now. It's getting it so almost anyone can get involved with the sport and really enjoy it and progress.
Well, let's take a look at some of this new equipment. First of all, for the general recreational skier, the change has been dramatic in a couple of ways, not only graphically, but just in the way the ski lays out and in the length of the ski and what you can do in the shop with it.
Well, again, there's a lot more side cut to the ski nowadays than what there was before. And when I say side cut, the waist, the center section is about the same as what we had 10 years ago, but the tip and tail are considerably wider. And when you lay that ski up on edge, it wants to follow that arc around. Some of the other things that have happened over the years is we have independent binding plates now. So when you mount the boot and binding system on the ski, you get a much more even arc underfoot, again, helping that skier. Another big change has gone in the length of the ski. 10 years ago, I would be skiing a 205 or 204. Now I'm on a 178. So you have a lot less skier material to turn, just making it a lot easier.
Now the new skis, Bob, when you tip them on edge, they just naturally carve a great arc. Part of that is you get a little bit more leverage.
Yep, you get a little more leverage on it, but also many of these binding plates actually float on the ski. So they're really attached in the front of the plate only, and you see the slots in the heel unit. So as the ski arcs or bends, this plate actually floats on there.
Now from a shop standpoint, and we can see this at home, I'm sure, you have places where you can mount the bindings directly on the plate, which kind of gets rid of the old drill the hole in the ski routine that many of our friends are probably familiar with.
It does somewhat. Good or bad, this particular one is set up for one particular binding now because of that. This one's set up for a look binding. It does make it easier as far as the technician goes, but we still have to go through the same procedure as far as torque testing and make sure that it functions properly.
Okay. Well, let's say that you're a recreational skier and you want to get into ski racing, and anyone who watched the Olympics last time was probably amazed to see the tremendous ski technology in racing skis. You brought a Fisher ski here with us today. Give us a little bit of a brief preview of what this is all about.
Well, Fisher is one of the top race skis on the World Cup right now. And again, we're skiing these skis unbelievably short now. Where in past years we'd be overhead height, now we're down around shoulder height on the skis. So they're considerably shorter, and they're just going straight down through the course now. Another change is now you can see the elevation on this riser. Most of the race skis have a deck on there, again, bringing that skier up for more leverage over the ski, but also because the skis are so short and they're arcing them so hard, you don't want to have what they call boot out. So again, we're bringing that boot up so the boot's not making contact with the snow.
Here's a women's ski, a ski designed specifically for a woman skier. Show us what that looks like, and how is it different from a typical male-developed ski?
Well, cosmetically, they're going to look very, very similar. But what happens in a lady ski, because of their center of gravity is different than what a guy's would be, we want to move that skier further forward, and we want to typically soften the tip area a little bit, making it easier for the female to, again, initiate that turn and follow through with the turn. Again, we're trying to make it more enjoyable for the skier.
Jeannie always says that if you take a look at a pear, you'll understand how a woman's center of gravity flows. And if you turn that pear upside down, you'll notice that's the man's center, and that's the difference. Now, along with this woman's ski bob, you have a binding that goes along with it. And that's another part of the combination set up for women.
Yep, there again, we are, in many of the binding situations, we're putting higher decks on underneath the binding, again, raising that skier up. But it's also very important for ladies to get a binding that coordinates with the ski, and also is one that is in their weight or performance category.
Bob, along with skis and bindings, tremendous improvements in boots over the years, but just a tremendous amount of space-age materials and innovations to help skiers ski better.
Yeah, there's been quite a few changes here also. Because of the new ski designs, they've had to redesign the boots. So now they're getting into new materials, actually a lot of new technology in boot with dual density materials. So you see, like in this boot here, we have the black and also yellow here. Those are actually two different plastics that are fused together, which is all brand new technology in boots.
Bob, inside the boots, the materials to keep your feet warm have just improved dramatically. I'm sure a lot of people remember the old boots of the 50s that were just like two refrigerators on your feet.
Yep, they were.
These things are really warm.
But people don't realize the work that goes into an inner boot. They think it's just a slam dunk deal out of a manufacturing plant. But basically, the inner boot is still handmade. So there's several layers of different foams in there, different densities. In some cases, there's a memory foam, which actually conforms the foot with temperature. And in some cases, there's still flow material in there.
Okay, well, ski boots have undergone a big transition, but probably no more dramatic than the woman's boot.
Yeah, like the ski, it's very important to fit the lady's center of gravity and just the body shape. So several changes over a man's boot is one of which you can see here is the back cuff is actually sculptured out for ladies' calf muscle. Ladies' calf muscles are generally lower and a little bit larger than what a guy's would be. Another feature in a boot would be deck angling or ramping on the deck. In a lady's boot, we try and raise it up a little bit higher, again, getting that center of gravity further forward in the lady's boot. So, and again, comfort is the main issue for ladies.
Okay, so everyone has now the skis, the bindings, and the boots. A subject near and dear to our hearts are ski helmets. And Bob, ski helmets have really come onto the forefront here in the last couple of years with some well-publicized accidents. But really, ski helmets are comfortable, they look good, one size or one color fits all, and a lot of people are wearing them on the slopes. Not only kids, but a lot of adults.
And we're seeing more and more adults doing it. I think that's one thing the adults are learning from the kids. The kids have grown up with helmets with biking, so it's a natural transition for skiing now.
Well, our guest has been Bob Thomas of the Don Thomas Sporthaus in Bloomfield Hills. We've talked about skis, bindings, boots, and helmets. We hope you enjoyed this edition of the Michigan Skier. This is your host, Jim Neff. Until next time, enjoy your skiing.